And we are live. This is episode number 9 of Savages in the Bronx, live from Studio 54 in New Jersey and REM Studio in Staten Island, New York, airing exclusively on Twitch and powered by StreamYard. And welcome back to the show on this Monday, May the 10th, 2021. I'm your host, Rivera, and I'm being joined by a guy who hasn't shaved his beard in 7 years ago, Tom Wospil. Tom, that thing is looking bushy.
It is. It's probably the last week of it being this long. We have a wedding to go to this week, so it's probably. I've just been kind of looking for an excuse to shave it down, not off, but shave it down, and so it's probably the last week of the longer beard. But we'll still have something going on next week.
Man, all right. I almost don't remember you clean shaven anymore. And I remember when we first started working together, all I knew was clean shaven Tom Wospil, and now it's unrecognizable for me. Yeah.
I think the wife prefers the clean shaven, but the beard is I like it. So we've been going with it for a while now.
That's great. It's a good look. It's the only compliment I'm gonna give Tom at this rate because
that's fair.
He's a subpar co-host.
I'll take what I can get. Listen, subpar is about as good as I can get. That's a high bar for me.
Yeah. You can follow us on YouTube. Because I got nothing else, because you're right. Savage in the Bronx, you can follow us on YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe and tap that notification button so you know when all the new episodes of Savages gets uploaded to the page. And the new episode, tonight's episode 9, we finally did a full game of baseball here, hit inning number 9 of Savages in the Bronx, if you want to call it that. But you can check out the previous 8 episodes as well on YouTube. So again, like and subscribe on YouTube, or whatever the kids say nowadays.
And if we did a full inning, a full game now, so next week's a fake episode, just like fake extra inning baseball.
Yes. We got the ghost runner and all. So it's a good time. It's a good time to be alive. The Bronx is burning, but not really, because the Yankees have been playing great. But we do have some news to go over. So let's start off with some good. Luke Voit set to return to the team, I think as soon as tomorrow even. That's Tuesday, May 11th. So Voigt's going to join the club, and I think it was indicative because Miguel Andujar was optioned yesterday following Sunday's walk-off win in the Bronx. So it looks like Voigt's going to be back on the team tomorrow. Awesome stuff, Tom.
Yeah, he's like all signs point that he'll be joining the team in Tampa. He's been mashing at AAA, which I guess you would expect him to be mashing at AAA, but he has been looking good. I imagine with playing in the Dome, he'll probably, I don't know. So normally you think he would DH, but then that takes Stanton out of the lineup. So I don't know. I imagine they'll probably get him DHing at least once. Stanton will get one day off, and then he'll play first, and then they'll go from there. But excited to see him back at that power back. First base has been such a black hole for this team all year, besides when DJ slides over there. Yeah. But it's gonna be nice to see someone. I mean, Ford played pretty well defensively at first, but not that Voigt's a Gold Glover, it'd be nice to see another solid first baseman out there.
Yeah, I mean, I give a lot of hate to Mike Ford, but he did have a nice mustache when he had it, and he played a good defensive first base. But other than that, he sucked. He's not good. Yeah, he's just not good. Very good. He's just not good at playing the game of baseball.
They had a big hit over the weekend.
He looked like, with the mustache, he looked like he belonged on the 122 precinct Sunday softball team, and he hit just like it. Strikeout, home run, strikeout. It just doesn't look like a guy who's comfortable playing baseball. And he looks, again, great for maybe GQ, but
I don't know about that.
Not for baseball. Baseball. I'll give him that. I need to give him an occupation.
I mean, I guess so. I just what I don't understand about Mike Ford, and we're not gonna have to get that deep into this, but listen, if you're Bryce Harper, if you're some other of these big power hitting lefties, I get it. You're not gonna bunt. If you're Mike Ford and you've been at the alternate site, learn to bunt, bud. I'm sorry, bunting is, you should not be above bunting. Get up, just push the ball down the third base line, get on. The fact that him and a lot of other guys don't do it just boggles my mind.
And I agree.
You can learn.
And I agree, but in a sense, big stocky lefty entering Bandbox Stadium, which is meant for lefties, you should be going deep. You should be going deep.
If you're good.
You still should be going deep. I know, and even Mike Ford was trying to lay down bunts this past weekend and it didn't look great. But yeah, no shitting on Mike Ford. We're happy to see Luke Voigt back real soon. He's been killing it in AAA Scranton. But speaking of minor leagues, let's throw a AA note to my Somerset Patriots because why not? I love those guys. But Estevan Florial, who was once this highly touted outfield prospect and untouchable at times for the Yankees, has been absolutely raking for Somerset. For the start of the season, 6 games in, 318 batting average, 4 home runs, 3 of which have led off the game for Somerset. Estevan Florial was looking like the Estevan Florial that was touted years ago. So what are your thoughts on Estevan Florial's hot start with the Somerset Patriots?
I mean, it's good to see him, playing well. Who knows if this would translate? Again, he's just doing it at AA. He's not even doing it at AAA at this point. The times we've seen him in New York, the few times where he's been up, it hasn't really shown much. So who knows? I mean, who knows what even his value is at this point, right? He's no longer a 20-year-old stud prospect. But it's cool. It's cool to see him do it. Our left field has been pretty atrocious all year. So I don't know. Maybe give him a shot. You sit down Gardner, sit down Frazier, bring up Florial and see how he does.
You know what it is? I like the lefty bat. And again, we're picking on Mike Ford because he stunk. But hey, having a lefty bat that can slug a little bit, I mean, I'm telling you, if there is a position where, knocking on wood and knock my phone over, if somebody in the outfield goes down in the IL, Florial could be in a spot to take a spot on the major league team and maybe produce at the big league level. So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, listen, even without an injury, like Gardner and Frazier have been bad. So I don't know. Maybe it's, if he keeps keeps it up down there, and our guys up in the Bronx aren't producing, maybe it's time to give him another shot. Give him 2 weeks. I'm like, hey, let's see what you got, and maybe we can catch lightning in a bottle.
I kind of wonder why he didn't start the AAA level to begin with, especially since he has a couple of major league appearances under his belt.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, I know a lot of it is, it's based on like where like the playing time they want, and who they may have some guys at AAA that they won't work it in certain positions. So I feel like that's about all the same, so we'll see. But I think let's see. Let's see maybe show back up in the Bronx in a couple weeks.
Great analysis from Tom. Let's see.
Let's see. Whatever. Whatever. We'll see what happens.
Subpar co-host. Mr. Tom Wospil. We love him. All right. Well, anyway, you can follow us on Twitter at Savages Bronx. You can follow Tom at
Wospil54.
And you can follow me at Rich J. Rivera. But you can follow our +1, our very special +1 for tonight's edition of Savages in the Bronx at 3 Ugly Guys on Twitter, because he doesn't have a Twitter himself for whatever reason, but he has an Instagram. You can follow him at JMS803. Look at his pictures up there. Our guest and I have a long history together, which is cool. He was on my previous podcast back in the day, leading off the first edition of Leading Off, like not the one that me and Espo, but he was on the one that me and Espo did recently, but not the one that me and Espo did, but the one that I did back in 2009, 2010, before podcasts were even a thing. It was my very first show, Leading Off, and he was one of my guests that was recurring on that. He was also part of Discussion at Midnight, back in the day. But now he's co-hosting his own show with his buddies Paul Valentino and Corey Lewis. And you can listen to him everywhere now. Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. They're trying to move over to YouTube. And right now, they actually just transitioned to a new schedule. Their episodes are airing every Monday morning. So every Monday on all those platforms I just mentioned. So every other Monday, you can listen to their shows. 3 Ugly Guys. Again, give him a follow on Twitter and Instagram. Also, he's a huge Yankee fan, which is why we brought him on tonight's episode to talk Yankees and more. Mr. Joe Stern joins us on Savage in the Bronx. What's up, Joe?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Well,
how's it going?
Good. Welcome, Savages. Thank you very much. I'm doing well. The Yankees are doing well. So I'm just doing well. I'm just having a great time. But I'm happy to have you on the show for the first time. Again, we talked about this on the pre-show. Joe is now the first person to do double duty as a guest for both Leading Off and Savage in the Bronx, because Tom also did make an appearance on Leading Off, but he hosts the show, so he doesn't count. So yes, Joe Stern, congratulations on being a double guest for me.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And you keep giving Tom crap.
Yeah. Well, listen,
damn.
He gives me what I deserve.
Wow. Okay. I mean, if it's warranted, it's warranted.
Listen, I would give Tom credit, but Reggie Jackson isn't following Savages in the Bronx on Twitter. He's following Leading Off on Twitter right now.
Oh, that means you guys got to step the game up over here a little bit.
So,
At least you got a famous person.
We unretired his number. So what? I mean, come on. He shouldn't follow us.
I'm sorry.
It's ultimate disrespect last week.
I'm still going to stick with it, and I agree with Tom. Reggie Jackson's number 44 should be unretired. I don't think that's definitely one of the numbers that definitely should have never been retired from the Yankees. With all their 21 retired numbers, the one that should have not been passed through is Reggie's. I have to say, I probably just lost Reggie's following leading off by saying
you could probably make the argument about a few of them.
Oh, we did.
I know. I'm just saying.
And you can check it out on our YouTube page at Savages Bronx. Look at the joke, give me the pop. But let's talk Yankees.
Bro. Yes.
It's been a roller coaster of an early season for the team. They were off to a really, really slow start, but ever since April 20th, which was funny when Jay Bruce had retired, the Yankees have gone 13-6, one of the best records, if not, I think the best record in the American League.
Yeah, I think it's second best in the entire league.
And that's in their last 19, and they also just went 7-2 on their recent 9-game homestand. So what are your early takes of this 2021 team?
I want to thank Jay Bruce for retiring. Maybe that was the shot in the ass the team needed. Nah, but all jokes aside, this is the team that we expected to have. This is the team that everybody thought was going to happen off the rip. I know in many previous years, they always get off to a hot start, and then they always kind of like cool off. This year was a little bit of a flip, and I was one of those people that was like, you know what? It was a lot of fans like fire sale, get rid of everybody. They're terrible. I'm like, you know what? This is a little different. And like history has shown in previous years, when they started off slow and they picked it back up after, they usually stayed hot. So I'm kind of hoping history will repeat itself again. They stumbled out the gate a little bit, but then hopefully they stick to what they're doing now. It looks like the pieces are coming together. The rotation, while it still isn't perfect, a lot of the guys behind Cole seem to be honing their skills a little bit, pitching to full potential now, or at least close to full potential. Like you guys mentioned before, Voigt's coming back to take up that hole that was at first base. It would be nice if we had more production out of left field, but like a lot of things kind of look like they're converging all at once here. So let's see if they can go on a nice little tear here, maybe take over first place from those dreaded Red Sox, and then really give themselves like a good position to go into the All-Star break in a couple of months like ahead.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, you said they're definitely starting to come together, pitching come together, offense starting to come together. Who are some of the guys that you've been pleasantly surprised to see performing well this year?
After the initial hiccup, Corey Kluber, I think, has been great. Sten, I think, is playing to full potential now or close to it, and I think it's also has something to do with the fact that he's healthy, because we know those bigger guys in baseball, you know, they're always injury prone. I mean, Judge is another one, but like Giancarlo seems to be healthy right now. You know, knock on wood. I don't want to, fuck anything up, but like this is the guy we expected to have when we first sent Castro and those other guys down to Miami a few years ago. So it's been nice seeing him playing well. Not a player specifically, but basically the entire bullpen. The entire bullpen has been the absolute backbone and strong suit of this team so far in the beginning of the season. Chapman developed a splitter, and he's like
gross,
disgusting,
just filthy.
His numbers are insane. Like I know there's a lot of relievers who still haven't given up a run yet, which is not, there's a lot of good pitchers out there, but like this guy looks like he's on another level right now. Mm-hmm. Another level.
He learned to throw 102 again. He developed that filthy slider a couple years ago, and then he was like, "Hey, by the way, I'm going to learn how to throw a splitter, which is also filthy." I mean, it's possible that it's possible that he has one of the best sliders in the league right now, one of the best splitters, and one of the best fastballs. It's insane.
Absolutely, the argument's absolutely there, and the fact that he basically said, like you said, "Hey, I'm going to develop a splitter," and like in one off season, it's like, fuck it, let's do this, and he's like, it's unbelievable, like the amount of break on it.
At what point? So do we think knuckleball this off season, screwball? Palm ball. What is Chapman gonna develop next?
He'll develop it after he gives up another game-winning hit in a playoff game.
Yeah, maybe he will actually throw the first gyro ball that we thought was great. The real gyro ball.
isn't there a kid somewhere? I forgot whose system it was that like allegedly throws a screwball. It's like the first time somebody's really thrown one of those in like a long time. I can't remember the kid's name.
I mean, I hate to sound unprofessional, but I actually don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. The only reason I bring this up is because I literally just watched something on MLB Network about this like recently. There's a kid in somebody's system who's kind of like toying with it, and they were saying like, "Hey, it's like something we haven't really seen in a while." And it is due to that myth with the whole arm angle where you're like inverting your arm, and it's like guys don't want their elbows coming out of their socket. So who knows? But like, if Chapman pulled something out like that, bro,
it's bringing out in the playoffs this year. Like, hey, by the way, I learned how to throw the ball.
I got it. It's Brent Honeywell.
That's him, Brent Honeywell.
Brent Honeywell, the Tampa Bay Rays system.
We saw him a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
Wait, see, I don't. Is he scheduled to? He was starting for the Rays, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I know he was optioned back to the alternate site shortly after the game he pitched against the Yankees when he made the 1 or 2 inning appearance. But yeah, Honeywell has been highly touted in their system for years, and I believe he had. I don't know if it was multiple. I know he had at least one TJ surgery that pushed him back, but
he did.
Years ago, he was the talk of the town in St. Pete. And yeah, Brent Honeywell is the one with the screwball, or some are calling it a bloodline deal. I mean, that is a sick quote right there for Honeywell. But yes, you mentioned Chapman, 0 ERA. He actually gave up his first run the other day, but that was only because of the runner starting at second base, so it wasn't earned.
Which, by the way, is an awful rule.
Thank you, Joe.
Awful rule.
Thank you, Joe.
As a men's league softball player, much like both of you, I don't like the rule even there. The fact that it's in professional Major League Baseball, this is a joke. And now they're doing this thing where they're talking about like moving the mound back. Like, come on, what the hell are they doing?
I think the next thing they should do is they should just bring out the Xbox or the PlayStation, and you play the show for 2 innings, and whoever wins that, wins the game. Might as well.
That's a great idea.
And I think every team has a gamer.
Yeah. Well, unless you're who was it, Jesus Luzardo, who sprained his pinky recently playing video games. I mean, I don't know if that would be a good idea for him to do that, but
spend the time on the IL. Gotta love it. And I mean, listen, I know my position on it. I actually don't feel the same with you two. I actually think there's room to improve the rule. I see what they're trying to do. I love the idea of like these useless 15+ inning games happening in the middle of the year, and then you have to cost the team its options and reliever arms and whatnot, when it's probably not even the fault of the bullpen that's being exhausted because their offense can't score shit. I think it's fair to have that assessed, but maybe a potential where you see the next 3 innings of extra inning play being normal, and then once you hit the what's that now? What's the math? 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th inning.
13th
then
inning.
You can go into the ghost runner at second base. There's possible room for that. But, obviously this is not something that's going to affect playoff ball, which I don't think it should. I think it should be traditional baseball in the playoffs. But to be parallel to the NHL, I like the idea of maybe trying to get the game done in a specific time and trying to, tweak it a little bit. Don't fuck up the game completely. Now, I think there's some things that I like. The 7-inning double headers is something I'm not for at all.
I hate
now
those.
You're changing a complete concept of the fucking game.
I'm more on board with 7-inning double headers than I am with the extra inning rule.
Games have fucking been won and lost after the 7th inning, though.
I'm more on board with it. At least you got 7 innings. That like now the extra innings is just it's a contest of who can bunt and then who can hit a lazy fly ball to left field. It's like it's nothing. I mean, listen, I don't love the 7-inning double headers, but I prefer it to the extra inning rule.
The only thing I don't like about them is the fact that when you take a guy who was it recently? It was Bumgarner threw a no-hitter. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, he threw a no-hitter, but it was in 7-inning doubleheader, so it doesn't really count. Like, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I think you just asterisk that. That's what I would do, honestly. You throw an asterisk on it, like, hey, he threw a no, because it's not like it matters. Like, it's a record. It's not like it's not like him throwing a no-hitter gets him like free Carvel for the year. Like, who cares? Like, it's just like if you threw a no-hitter, you didn't. He got a 7-inning no-hitter. No one's going to compare it to something else, but I don't know.
I have zero sympathy for those who throw a 7-inning no-hitter and they don't want to be counted as a no-hitter, because in history, you've seen combined no-hitters not count as official no-hitters. You've seen guys go past the 9th inning
That's also
into
true.
extras, lose in extras, and not be counted as a no-hitter. So I have no sympathy for guys who throw a 7-inning shutout.
Yeah, it's like who cares? Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's not like if you throw a no-hitter, your team gets 2 wins. So who cares what they call it or don't call it?
Good point.
That's like that's like some real. I think that's just some real like dumb baseball stuff where it's like, how do we categorize this? Like, who cares?
and it's great arguments there, and Tom and I can keep going back and forth in the extra inning rule. But hey, we have Joe Stern here with us from the Three Ugly Guys podcast. We're happy to have him on, and make sure to support his podcast at Three Ugly Guys on Twitter and Instagram. He'll give you the rundown later on how to listen. There's so many ways, but you can also support our good friends over at Sincerely Alley Studio, who's our sponsor of Savages in the Bronx. And since 2020, Sincerely Alley has been doing a great job customizing coffee mugs and wines and scented candles. You know, Tom, I've been telling you, Alley's Champagne Kisses candle has been great to have on during the game. And nothing says Champagne Kisses is what we're going to see in October, when the boys will be popping champagne.
And I'll lay a big champagne kiss right on your face if we get to that moment.
Not with that beard, you won't. But call it ritualistic.
I'll tickle you with a little bit of the upstairs. Just a little.
That's fucking disturbing.
Maybe little Eskimo kisses.
Let's see if Allie can get an Eskimo Kisses candle. I actually, that might be not. I think that has a good ring to it. Some linen stuff. Sorry, Allie, I'm doing this during your spot, but call it ritualistic. But I have these candles always lit during a Yankee game, and it seems that the Yankees keep winning every time I light a candle up. So even more of a reason to go visit her on Instagram at sincerely.alley. That's with 2 E's, and also Sincerely Alley Studio at Etsy.com. So for all things for your self-care needs, Sincerely Alley. And that's our good friends. You know, obviously, Joe's really familiar with my boy. I'm going to call him out, Steve Arado. So that's their group right there, Sincerely Alley. So good stuff there. But we're back here with Mr. Stern. And, you know, Joe, back in the day when we were doing our leading off stuff and our discussion midnight stuff, there's this one segment that you and I were really familiar with on both of those programs, and we called it the bracket. But here on Savage in the Bronx, we're debuting the bracket for the first time as Babe's Bracket. Babe's
I
Bracket.
like it.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Babe's Bracket. And on tonight's Babe's Bracket, which is presented by Sincerely Alley Studio, we're going to talk about the greatest walk-off win of all time in Yankee history. And obviously, the Yankees are coming off back-to-back walk-off wins against the Nationals. Not a great time to be a Nationals fan this past weekend. But obviously, Gleyber Torres and Giancarlo Stanton had something to say about that. So I want to talk about some of the coolest Yankee walk-off wins of all time. And with the help of some images, too. I'm really getting creative now with the show, guys. So let's start it off. Let's start it off with Bernie Williams, Game 1 of the 1996 ALCS against the Orioles, his walk-off home run. Or a very iconic one at that. And I probably just spoiled who I'm going to pick here. But Derek Jeter's walk-off home run. Where the hell is Derek Jeter's image on this? Did I lose Jeter's image?
He's right there. He's right in front of
he's right in front there.
His hands up.
I'm so unprofessional because I don't think I have Derek Jeter's image in front of my face. No, I don't have it. All right. So Bernie Williams or the Ghost Runner, Derek Jeter. His 2001 World Series Game 4 home run, obviously iconic moment of that World Series, which the Yankees unfortunately lost, but had the city on his back. You know, big time moment for Yankee history. But Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter, who do you guys got?
Good, Tom.
You got it, Joe.
All right, I'm gonna go with Jeter, just off the strength of when Bernie hit his in the ALCS in '96. I was only 5. I don't even know if I was 5 years old. Obviously, I was watching back then, but there's not too many memories. Like, I have the image burned in my head of the picture, which just showed of him jumping into the pile. But as far as like specific moments from like that season and the game in general, it's a little hazy back then. I have more a personal connection to Jeter's. You know, I was 10 years old. heavily. Like back then when you're 10 years old, what's your life? Your life is going outside, playing with your friends, playing sports, and playing video games. Like that was it. That's all you had to do. And obviously,
that's some of our lives still.
Yeah, that's true. It is. But back then, just 10 years old, just like focused on the TV. Jeter hits that huge home run, and it's just that will still stick with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it's hard to beat Mr. November. I think we know that Jeter's going to advance here. I'll be honest, it is closer to me than you would think. Bernie's home run really helped start the dynasty. 96 ALCS. They win that series. Obviously, they go on to beat the Braves in the World Series. Jeter's is iconic. It's Mr. November. It's the first minutes of games being played. November baseball. K with the great call. But they did lose that World Series, and it stinks they did. But they did lose it. I have Jeter going on here, but not by as far as you would think.
All right. That's a fair assessment, and definitely going to be useful as we move along with a few of these moments here. So next I have Chris Chambliss. This is going to be our oldest moment here. 1976, Game 5 of the ALCS against the Kansas City Royals. This is a great image, but the image I would have loved to have shown was when he was like running through the fans that were storming the field on the game-winning home run on the great call by the great Howie Cosell. But yes, Chris Chambliss. Chris Chambliss has won the American League pennant for the New York Yankees. I think that's it. I think that was the call. All right. And then Alex Rodriguez with a walk-off, to say the least. 2009 regular season game against the Mets. And we don't remember this image because we remember this image. Luis Castillo dropping the ball, and the Mets losing a Subway Series game against the Yanks. So Chambliss or A-Rod / Castillo.
Our Met fans are not going to be happy about that one, Rich.
No.
Yeah.
No. But they also aren't tuning into the show.
It's funny, like that A-Rod moment. I know exactly where I was at when that happened. I was working on campus. I remember watching that game with some of the people we were worked with and thinking like, fuck, we lost. That's it. And then he drops it. Yeah, huge A-Rod fan. It's a huge moment. But Chris Chambliss, it sends him to the World Series again, like the Bernie one. It helped kickstart that mini run for that team. The Yankees were very bad in the late 60s, early 70s, and that's a moment that really changed and kind of brought that belief and the swagger to the team to help propel them to win that World Series.
Yeah, I agree. That home run, while they did not win in 76, it lit a fire. It created something. The next 2 years was great to be a Yankee fan, even though none of us were there. So I'm going to go with Chambliss also over the fact that, as a Yankee fan, with the whole A-Rod and the drop ball by Castillo, it's funny, but
it's so funny.
He should have caught that.
It's one of the funniest walk-offs.
It is, but it's not to me. It's man, you should have just got a fucking hit. That's not a real it was an error. Chambliss's walk-off meant more in the long run. Although in 2009 we did win.
Yes,
but that was a random Subway Series game.
Yeah, and I think I have to agree there too. All right, these next two are also regular season games. Next we have in 2002 Jason Giambi with his walk-off grand slam against the Twins. They almost call it the ultimate grand slam because the Yankees are chasing 3 runs, and he hit the grand slam to win the game. And again, at 13 inning, and for Jason Giambi, this was his debut season after a big contract signing with the Yankees over the offseason. So we have that, and this one, John Flaherty's shining moment as a Yankee, 2004. I believe the date was actually July
1st.
Right? I think it was July 1st, 2004. And again, another play. We don't really remember John Flaherty's walk-off hit. We remember that Derek Jeter dive into the stands. Game. A game that also went extra innings against the Red Sox and led to a sweep of the team. But those are the 2 walk-offs I have there. What do you gentlemen believe is the best between the 2?
So, another case, I remember exactly where I was for the Flaherty one because I was in the stands. I was at that game.
Wow.
I was in there. I was at the funny thing about that game is we were in the upper deck, a little bit past third base. So when Jeter dives in the stands, we couldn't see it. You know, the old stadium, how the upper deck hung over. We were like midway up. We saw him run, and they just didn't see him. So I was there, but I didn't actually see him dive into the stands. So they showed on the replay. The most wild game I've ever been to. You know, the long-term listeners know that I was at David Cohen's perfect game, but that's, you know, kind of like a different thing. That Yankee Red Sox game was at the height of the rivalry. The stands were wild. It was a Saturday night game or late, like a 4:00 game. So listen, people were toasty up there. I was like 14 or 15, so not so much me. I remember it being insane. You know, that game it's iconic. I gotta go with Flaherty.
So the Giambi walk-off is a big moment in my memory because, like Rich said, that was his first year with the team. And I just remember the call, like Giambi earned his pinstripes. Like it was the 13th inning. It was a true walk-off grand slam. They were down 3. They won by 1. It was in the rain. It was like pouring rain. It was just like a big moment at the time. But that Flaherty walk-off, first of all, that game in general, that July 1st game, 2004 against the Red Sox, like you guys said, height of the rivalry, is one of my favorite Yankee games, period, of all time that I've ever seen. And not even just they had the dive in the stands by Jeter, the Flaherty walk-off. An unsung hero that not many people remember from that game is Miguel Cairo. Miguel Cairo, in 2 different instances, hit balls deep into the gaps to like get within 1 or like tie the game. And he was a guy also that like nobody expected him to come through. He wasn't known for his hitting. He came through twice to extend that game and give the Yankees the opportunity to either tie the game or take the lead. So if it wasn't for him, that Flaherty walk-off would have never even happened.
There's also an A-Rod play in that game. I don't think it's enough attention. Diving at third, steps on the base, throws. Well, no, it wasn't that one. He throws it over the runner going home. He has to just like perfectly arc it.
Perfect throw.
It was. I mean, I guess we know we're going with this one. That game might be the best game in the last 30 years. That you know wasn't a playoff game. It honestly might be.
Yeah. And then also, just to piggyback on the game itself, just Jeter going into the stands, taken out. They move A-Rod to short, and I believe that they pulled Gary Sheffield out of the outfield, and he played third base for the first time in like damn near 20 years. Yeah, and he got like a couple plays. I remember.
I agree. It is the greatest regular season game I've ever seen in my life when it comes to the Yankees, at least. And I would have went with both you guys on that one. John Flaherty's pinch hit walk-off. That it's funny because I feel like the walk-off was probably the least memorable thing about the game. So
it is, but the thing that sealed it for me is Michael K's call. You could just tell how shot his voice was.
Yes.
From all the other crap that happened. So hearing him barely being able to speak, make the call for Flaherty, that was the cherry on top of the sundae.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love that. And I believe he was the last guy they had on their bench too.
He was
in that particular moment. So crazy game. All right, last of the first round. That was a lot for one game. Jesus. We have a World Series game. Game 3 of the 1991 World Series. Chad Curtis's walk-off home run to give the Yankees a 3-0 series lead in 1999 over the Braves. And, of course, we wouldn't have this list without this guy. Aaron Boone, 2003, Game 7 of the ALCS. Yankees complete the comeback against the Red Sox and win, advance to the World Series, where they would go on to lose to the Florida Marlins. Guys, who do you have?
Go on, Joe.
All right. So even though we won in 99 and we did not win in 2003, I believe personally Aaron Boone's home run meant more. It was I felt like it was more high stakes at that time. We didn't know if we were going to make it to the World Series. Back in 99, it wasn't like 96 when we faced the Braves. Like, they had us down 2-0 and then we came back and it was such a great series. 99 was different. Like, we kind of steamrolled them. So, like, I'm not going to lie. Until this moment right now, Rich, I forgot that walk-off by Chad Curtis even happened.
I mean, we did too much talking about that last game with John Flaherty and Jeter.
Right. It's almost like, listen, if Chad Curtis didn't hit that home run, someone else was going to.
Right, exactly. It was just like it was meant to be. But in 03, it was like it was just a knockdown, drag out fight. Who's going to make it to the World Series? And obviously it didn't go our way that year, but I think also because of the fact that us in general, we were older, we were able to appreciate more about the game. So seeing that, and then also it was against the Red Sox. So who doesn't want to see that?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Aaron Boone walk-off.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Joe. Again, it kind of goes against what we said earlier. Chad Curses happens in the World Series. It leads to a sweep. It's a more important, in Yankee history, I guess you could say, home run. But the Aaron Boone one is just it's a moment.
It's a moment in time.
Gets played. It's going to get played, 50, 100 years from now. People are going to see that another game that was insane against the Red Sox and Pedro not coming out, Posada hitting the little bloop single, the comeback. This was again in that real height of the Yankee Red Sox rivalry in those years. I got to go with Boone here, even though they ended up closing the deal in the World Series.
And I would agree. And look at this, the next four that we have, none of these led to a World Series. None of these moments led to the Yankees winning a World Series in that season, which is wild. But that tells you how memorable they were. Without the World Series win. So we're going to move on to the semifinals and we got the graphic finally, Derek Jeter's 2001 World Series Game 4 winner, Mr. November, of course. And then we have Chris Chambliss, 1976, with the scrum on the field with the fans. Stern, who do you have in this one?
I have Jeter, definitely. We already talked about the significance of, the game and the World Series and just the fact that we were alive when that happened. But one thing we did not touch upon is I'm going with that because it was more important to the city of New York.
Yes.
At that time, obviously with the attacks on the Twin Towers in September of that same year, it made that home run, that moment, that series meant more than 76. Granted, back in 76, we hadn't won in a while. And we were in a bad drought as far as championship caliber teams. And 2001, we came off the three-peat, we won in 96, before that, it's we were trying to go for 4 in a row, but the city of New York needed that. They needed that moment. It sucks that they couldn't win that year for them, but I think it's a bigger moment.
Sorry, bad time to take a sip of the coffee there.
It's all right, bro.
I would agree. It is Jeter here. Yeah, I think Joe, you said it perfectly.
Fantastic. And I would have agreed there as well. So far, everybody's on the same page. John Flaherty, 2004. Of course, we touched on this game so much before. I don't know if we have any more points to touch on. Or the Aaron Boone, 2003 walk-off Game 7 of the ALCS. 2003 ALCS, that is, against the Red Sox.
Yeah, two big Yankee Red Sox games. One of them happened in the playoffs, though. One of them sent the Yankees to the World Series. One of them was a home run. I think you got to go with Aaron Boone here.
I agree. We went over how big of a game that 2004 game was with Flaherty, but let's be real. One of them was a walk off. That wasn't even the biggest moment of that game, which Tom talked about. That Aaron Boone walk off brought us to the World Series. That was the biggest moment in that game. So I got to go Aaron Boone.
And goes down as one of the killer bees in Red Sox lore. Them breaking the curse. But yes, Aaron Boone, I agree there. All right, our finals here. Aaron Boone, we just touched on 2003 ALCS Game 7, or Derek Jeter's Game 4 2001 World Series against the Diamondbacks, being crowned Mr. November following that walk-off. What do we got, boys?
Go on, Joe.
I'm going to go with Jeter just because it adds to his lore as one of the greatest Yankees of all time, somebody we grew up watching, somebody who made the Yankees for us, if that makes sense. A big reason why I'm a Yankee fan was Derek Jeter. Aaron Boone, great moment in history, definitely earned it. He's our manager now, but I don't know if you could compare the two of them. If it comes down to Boone sent us to the World Series, Jeter continued the World Series. We didn't win either of those years, so that kind of gets taken out of it. So, again, just to piggyback on last round, it meant more. That home run meant more to the city of New York. It's bigger than baseball at that point, so I got to go with Jeter's home run.
Tom, can I actually take this one because I want to make a podcast out of this?
I actually can make the podcast for you because I'm taking Aaron Boone here.
Okay.
I'm taking Aaron Boone here, and I understand and I respect the Jeter home run would have meant to the city, but just the Yankee Red Sox of it, the fact that they did go at least, it sent them to the World Series in Game 7 in a classic game the entire way. Yankees down, make the comeback. I would take Aaron Boone in this case.
Okay.
All right, you called my hand because I was going to go with the anti-vote so I can get the break vote from Tom.
Listen, now I was there the whole time.
Now do I go with my heart or do I go with my head here? Both are great. Both meant so much. I mean, obviously Jeter's it meant so much to the city, that moment there. But for sentimental value, and this would probably change if we had another 2 voters or another 4 voters, I'm going with Aaron Boone as well. That game, to me, was the greatest Yankee game I've ever watched in my life. And that game alone turned me on to baseball as a fan. Without that game, we would not be hosting this show tonight. I would not have hosted leading off earlier tonight. I wouldn't have played softball for as many years. I wouldn't have played baseball for as many years. I wouldn't have gone to all the Yankee games for those years. That game alone, for a personal note, not even just game notes, personal standpoint, that made me a fan of baseball. That's why I always say, like, hey, I got into baseball actually late in my life. I got into it like 2003. I don't tell a lot of people why I got into it. What got me into it? It was this fucking game right here.
And think of it this way too. So, Aaron Boone that year actually wasn't great for the Yankees. He had a lot of ups and downs. He was a pinch hitter in this situation. This moment really got him with where they thought was going to be, their third baseman moving forward, but then led to the greatness that is A-Rod when he tore his knee in the offseason playing basketball. To A-Rod, and one of the greatest Yankees of all time.
Derek Jeter, our winner of Babe's bracket for the best.
We just went over this. Aaron Boone won, you idiot.
God. Oh, sorry. I made the bad call.
Like Grady Little making a bad call, leaving Pedro in the game. Rich Rivera can't remember something that happened 30 seconds ago.
Aaron Boone is the winner of Babe's bracket, Game 7 of 2003 ALCS against the Red Sox. Last time we're going to be having Babe's bracket on Savages in the Bronx.
Rich, if it makes you feel any better, one time on my podcast, I said Dustin Hoffman was in the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Ooh.
Only to realize it was Dennis Hopper.
It was Dennis Hopper. Yeah. It was Dennis Hopper. Oh boy, that was a bad one. And we just said it. Like I just had short-term memory loss. Just God damn it. All right. Well,
everybody gets one.
Jesus. Oh, anyway, is there a walk-off win that we should honorably mention that maybe we didn't bring up before?
I mean, you have the other walk-off from the 2001 World Series. You have the Soriano walk-off. Again, it's not a home run, but that game also with I always forget who hit the home run to get to Jeter. Was it Brocious or was it Tino? Brocious. Tino had the one to get to Soriano. That's right there, I think, as well.
No, I think I think Tino got the Jeter, and I think Brocious got the Jeter. I thought Brocious got.
I was going to confuse. I honestly,
you know what? Confused. I think you're right. Brocious was a different game in that same series,
and I think Brocious was a wilder call. It was the next game. I thought Brocious was a crazier call because it was like, I don't believe it. They done it again. Like that.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I know both of them hit the tying ones to get to. It's for the legendary moments later, but I think that's a huge one off the top of my head. Trying to think what else out there. They had some in the 09 season, or in the 09 playoffs. Teixeira hit one right against the Twins. Was it
Jose Mijares, who was I think he was just a left-handed reliever for the Minnesota Twins, and Mark Teixeira was on the right side of the plate, and he pulled one directly down the left field line, and this ball stayed so low, it hit the top of the fence, and then drifted over the top for the walk-off win. It was Game 2 of the American League Division Series, the same game that Alex Rodriguez hit the game-tying home run in the bottom of the ninth off Joe Nathan. Right.
I wish there was more from that whole run. I was in college for that, and it was
great.
It was insane. Just having house parties where everyone stops and we're just watching the Yankees, and it was listen, that 09 championship, I'll never forget.
I have one run. And I had a list of honorable mentions, but I had one that I didn't even list that I remember clearly. 2012 American League Division Series, Yankees against Orioles. Raul Ibanez, game-tying home run, then a walk-off home run in the same game against Baltimore.
Except he pinned it for A-Rod, which was offensive. So
now thinking about it, and I could be wrong again, I'll have to check. I think the guy who gave up the walk-off home run to Raul Ibanez is a current Yankee. I think it's Darren O'Day. But I have to check that.
I mean, yeah. I top of my head, I remember the moment. Don't remember exactly who threw the pitch, but yeah, those are big moments of recent. And let's just hope we get some of them. This year, I would love some big playoff home runs coming up.
I got a walk-off question for you guys. Who hit the first Yankees walk-off?
Who hit the first Yankees walk-off?
I just looked it up.
Oh, I mean, like, can we get a year?
1905.
1905. Jesus. So.
Wee Willie Killer?
Yes.
Yes.
It was Wee Willie Killer.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up now. It was tied 5-5 in the 9th inning, 1 out, bases empty, and he hit a home run. 1905.
And I don't know. He's my first guess because he's like the first old Yankee I think of. Like
he's the only Yankee one that I remember off the top of my head that played back then.
Willie Keeler.
Wee Willie Keeler.
Good God.
Good God.
Man. I don't know how, but all right. Yeah, Wee Willie Keeler. First walk-off. Love the trivia, Stern. Last minute trivia. But hey, we're gonna have some trivia. We have some different trivia here. See, we just keep the fun going. We got brackets, but now we have Guess the Graph, which has been Tom's baby since the beginning of the show. And it's been a fun one here where we try to guess the signature on one of Tom's balls that you see on his right shoulder over there. He's got like over 60 of these balls he's collected over the years. Guy's a real fiend for autograph balls. But here is tonight's signature presented by Tom.
Yeah,
it's that one.
Not sure if this is going to be too easy of a one, but I've been stumping people too much recently.
And it's a good one because I freaking don't know. I mean, I'll maybe even increase the screen. I don't even know. And of course, if you're on Twitch, you can throw your guesses. I'll be looking at that in the chat. So this is a full participation here. Tom, can you give us a hint maybe of when this guy played?
Did not play for the Yankees, this man.
Oh, it's one of those again. Okay.
Did not
be affiliated with the Yankees at all?
No, yes. Okay. Very much affiliated with the Yankees.
Very much affiliated with the Yankees. Yes. But didn't play.
Yes. If I give you too much more there, I think it would give it away.
Okay.
We can hold some of those. Hasn't been affiliated with the Yankees for 15 years or so. Maybe a little bit more. I'm trying to think.
Is the first initial of the second part of this a D?
It is not a D.
No. Looks like a Q.
Looks like
it's not
number.
It's also not a Q. None of those are correct. None of those are correct. But it hasn't been affiliated with the team, but it's still affiliated with Major League Baseball.
This is awful. Okay. Oh, shit. I know it.
You know it?
I fucking know it. He's a manager, right?
His number's retired. He's one of those guys who want his number unretired.
Joe, does that help you at all?
No.
A retired number of a former Yankee manager.
Joe, does that help you?
Is that Joe Torre?
It's Joe Torre.
Yeah. Yeah. When you said didn't, I was like, all right. You put all the things together, didn't play, affiliated for years, and I was like, I was just trying to figure out the letters.
I was gonna say, his number's retired, but Rich doesn't think it should be retired. But I thought that'd be too easy earlier.
I don't think it should be retired. And here's my argument here. This is my argument here, Stern, with the Joe Torre number not being retired. I actually don't think any manager in baseball should even have a number to begin with. I think it should just be like the NHL or the NFL. You don't get a number.
Or it's just Yeah,
and even if you get a number, I think it should be reserved for the cream of the crop of players who are so significant to their team that the highest honor they can get is literally not worn by any other player in that franchise's history. And I don't think it should be reserved for managers.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. You kind of did sway me. That I think the idea that managers have to like wear uniforms is kind of silly. The fact you got like Tony La Russa right now, he's wearing
a uniform.
What is he doing wearing a uniform? It is silly. They should just be able to look like listen, if you want to go like NFL and they wear khakis and polos, you want to go like NHL where they're wearing
full
suits in the NBA too. I think that would make more sense. The fact that most of them don't even wear jerseys. They ended up just wearing like the pullover. Like Boone just wears the long sleeve and the cutoff sweatshirt.
Yep.
It is silly, but the fact that they do wear them, they do get numbers. Therefore, their numbers can be retired.
That's how I feel, but they're not.
Rich wants to unretire number 1 for Billy Martin.
And listen, I don't want him to retire Rich Rivera's jersey number when I finally get inducted to the Softball Hall of Fame, even though I will manage my team to 10 World Series or whatever championships we call them, ASA, whatever the fuck. I don't know. But hey, look at this friggin' scorebook the other day from Sunday, scoring 27 runs in 5 innings. Look at that shit.
You scored 27 runs?
Yeah, I didn't even know what that team was thinking playing the field.
What was your stat line in that game? Let's hear it.
Yeah,
that game alone, 4 for 4 with a triple in
5 for 4?
4 for 4.
4 for 4.
Yeah, you bet your ass I got Wendy's on Mother's Day.
I was about to say, did you get Wendy's after?
Oh, it was a great time. Yeah, absolutely. Well deserved. No, the team was killing it. But shout out to the Ball Busters.
4 little singles.
Shout out to the Ball Busters for putting up 27 runs, and shout out to Joe Stern not joining the Ball Busters this year once again. But hey, you can join the Joe Stern 3 Ugly Guys train and follow him everywhere. There's the logo right there. Beautiful thing. I think Joe Stern's the guy on the left, but
try again.
Thank you for joining us once again. Thank you for joining me once again on another podcast. Thank you for joining Savages in the Bronx.
Yes, thank you guys for having me.
Love to have you again. Now plug away, man. Where can we listen to you? Where can we follow you? What's upcoming? Tell us more about 3 Ugly Guys.
All right, so you could follow 3 Ugly Guys on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at 3 Ugly Guys. You can also follow us on Reddit at 3 Ugly Guys Podcast. If you just type in 3 Ugly Guys, I'm sure it'll show up. It's the same logo Rich just showed for everything. If you want to listen to our podcast, we are on Podbean, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and Audible at 3 Ugly Guys. We release new episodes every other Monday. The last episode we just released was last Monday, so the next one will be this upcoming Monday, which will be our 50th episode. We have some good stuff in the works in the future for future episodes. We also have some other stuff in the works for side projects that's all going to be connected. So stay tuned.
And congratulations on encompassing 50 episodes real soon. You just said next Monday will be the drop for that, so that's going to be really cool. We'll see you in about 41 episodes for that. So we got a long ways to go until 50. But yes, Mr. Stern, thank you once again, bud. And we'll speak to you soon. Let's go Yankees.
Thank you guys. Let's go Yankees.
Thanks for coming on, Joe.
No problem. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Rich.
Take care. Joe Stern, also historically on the longest episode of Savage in the Bronx of all time, as we are encompassing the 50-minute mark. But we're not going an hour, Tom. We are going to put the show to an end. It was a fun one, though.
Sure was. It was a good time, good brackets, good conversation. Joe was fun. So I think another good episode.
Another good episode in the books. And who knows? It's from a Joe from Staten Island. Usually you don't hear good things about Joe's from Staten Island, but that was it's certainly not Rich's from Staten Island. Fuck those guys.
Absolutely not.
Those guys stink.
Absolutely not.
Those guys stink. But anyway, yes. Shout out to Joe. I want to thank him first and foremost as we get out of thank yous here for joining the show. And again, follow him at 3 Ugly Guys on Twitter, Instagram. New shows every other Monday. On Apple, Podbean, Spotify, your mother's ass, everything. I mean, they got a lot. I mean,
Jesus, the day after Mother's Day.
Celebrating the day after Mother's Day. God, I love you, Mom. And thank you to my mom and all the moms out there, including Mama Stern and Mama Wospil and all the moms of our Twitter followers and all the moms out there, all the beautiful moms. Happy belated Mother's Day. Thank you all for all you guys do for us. Tom, any thank yous before we end the show?
Yeah, I was just gonna continue the mom thank yous, all the moms, in our lives that mean so much. Just had Mother's Day, so thank you to moms.
Yeah, thank you, Mom, and I'm sorry for that very very racy comment I said on Savage in the Bronx. Thank you for listening, Mom. Love you. But yes, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the show once again. We'll see you here next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Twitch. Take care.